looking. I've been looking, searching, trying to find the right way to walk. Stay beside me, guide me, and try me. I wanna walk in your light. I've been looking, searching, trying to find the right way to walk. The Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. And whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemy, my victim trust I put all in thee. Believe you got the world in your hand. You bless me, Lord, I know I can stand. Show me the way, Lord. I will be faithful, for I am desolate and afflicted. Lord, show me the way. I've been looking, searching, trying to find the right way to walk. Stay beside me, guide me, and try me. I wanna walk in your light. I've been looking, searching, trying to find the right way to walk. The Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. And whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemy,
Then I want to say to the people that are watching us live on the internet, good afternoon. And as always, it is good to stand before you on the Lord's Sabbath day. You know, it's a funny thing, sisters and brothers, that when it comes to the Word of God, people read the Bible and they come to their own conclusion on a lot of things. I remember a guy told me about the Songs of Solomon. He said, boy, that's a beautiful love story between Solomon and one of his women. They don't have nothing to do with Solomon and one of his members, his women. It have everything to do with God and his people. So we going to deal with the Songs of Solomon today. The title, The Songs of Solomon. Here, sisters and brothers, the Lord preaches his gospel in a whole lot of different ways. And when you pay attention, you find out it is all about the gospel. And it's all about the Lord and his people. And his people, when I say his people, I don't mean just Israel. It's everybody, but Israel is the forerunner or the prototype for the whole creation. So we're going to look at these Songs of Solomon. And we're going to find out really who these Songs of Solomon are written about. And what is it that we can find out that the Lord wants to know. So we're going to start in the Songs of Solomon, the first chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Songs of Solomon 1 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine.
Go ahead.
Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is as ointment poured forth.
Go ahead.
Therefore do the virgins love thee. Draw me, we will run after thee.
So to let you know, this guy here, his name is like poured out ointment. He said, draw me and we will run after thee. Go ahead and read.
The king hath brought me into his chamber. We will be glad and rejoice in thee.
Go ahead.
We will remember thy love more than wine. The upright love thee.
And saying the upright love this person, sister and brother. You know, it's going to let you know this got nothing to do with a individual love story. But now let's see what he going to reply with. Go ahead and read.
I am black, but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem.
He said, I'm black, but calmly, O you daughters of Jerusalem. Go ahead and read.
As the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon.
So Solomon's curtain must have been pretty black. Because this guy is using his curtain as an example of how black he is. But go ahead and read.
Look not upon me, because I am black.
Now people say, go ahead and read.
Because the sun hath looked upon me.
But people say, well, the sun have looked upon him. Look, sisters and brothers, I don't care how long you lay in the sun. The best you come up with is a deep tan and skin cancer. But he's just using this as something like a metaphor. Look not on me, because I am black, because the sun will look upon me. Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me.
So my mother's children was angry with me. Now we're going to take a pause here. We're going to put us a divider here, because first thing is we got to find out who this black person is that said his mother's children was angry with him. We're going to run it down. First, let's go into Revelation, the 12th chapter. We're going to find out who the woman is, who this mother. Revelation chapter 12. Because it's good, sisters and brothers, to just go and let the Bible explain everything rather than give you an interpretation. I get lots of them on the telephone. I listen, and when I get tired, then I say, well, it's not quite like that. Then all of a sudden, people want to get all excited. We're going to find out who this woman is. 12:1, Revelation 12:1. Okay, go ahead.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
This woman clothed in the sun, moon under her feet, and have a crown of 12 stars. Go ahead and read.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered.
Now this woman was laboring, pain to be delivered. Let's see what she brought forth. Skip down to verse 5. Verse 5 and go ahead.
And she brought forth a man-child.
And she brought forth a man-child. Go ahead.
Who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron.
And he was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. This man-child that she brought forth. I mean, everybody he's going to rule. When he said a rod of iron, that means he's going to be real strict. Go ahead and read.
And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne.
So who we talking here? We're talking Jesus here. See, this woman, we're going to show you who he is. Now, all of a sudden, the 6th verse jumps way to the future. Read that 6th verse.
And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had the place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
So it's talking about the time, 3.5 years of great tribulation. But there is a big gap between this man-child and his mother fleeing into the wilderness. So let's go and find out who this woman is. Let's go into Genesis, the 37th chapter. Genesis 37. Because what we had here, this woman had a clothed in the sun, the moon on her feet, and had a crown of 12 stars upon her head. So we're going to find out who this is really talking about. Because it's okay, I can tell you, but it is better if you read it. Genesis 37. Genesis 37, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. 37 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan.
Now he's talking Jacob here. That's the one whose name was changed to Israel, because he was in the land of Canaan. Go ahead and read.
These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah.
Go ahead.
And with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report.
Go ahead.
Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him.
Now, because Jacob loved Joseph more than all his other children, they hated him. And they couldn't speak peaceably of him. That's why sometimes, sisters and brothers, you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to your children. And you cannot make a difference, because you have your own children hating one another because they think mother or dad love you more than me. Plus, again, too, Joseph was a snitch. What was that?
We have verse 5.
So skip down to verse 5 and go ahead.
And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
They hated him because he was a favorite of his father, and then they hated him because he was a dreamer of dreams. Skip down to verse 9. He dreamed another dream. Go ahead and read.
And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more.
Go ahead.
And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
So now what? We see he said he dreamed this dream, and he saw where the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowed down to him. That's obedience unto him. Go ahead and read.
And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him.
Go ahead.
And said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I?
That's because the moon, the sun represent Jacob. Go ahead and read.
And thy mother?
Sun and the moon represent his wife. Go ahead and read.
And thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth?
And his brethren. So now it was 11 stars, but when you add Joseph to the stars, it's 12. So this woman, the sun represented Jacob. The moon represented his wife. The 12 stars represented the 12 tribes of the 12 sons of Israel. So now, where did Jesus come through? He came through the 12 tribes of Israel. Did you finish that?
Yes, I did.
Now we know who this woman is that we saw that brought forth the man-child. Israel. Jesus had two mothers. Physical mother was Mary. National mother was Israel. Now let's go and pursue it a little more about this guy, because Jesus came through this woman. That means that he was a son of her, and the rest of the children of Israel was his sisters and brothers. So let's go into 69th chapter of Psalm chapter 69. Because these things, sisters and brothers, the Lord put all this Bible here because he didn't trust the interpretation of man. Therefore, he had this great big book written, this great big message delivered, so you can read it and research it and find out what he is talking about. Because if you're going to leave it to man, man don't know too much. I don't know no man over 150 years old. That means you wasn't around when this book was written. Therefore, your information have to be obtained by reading or hearing somebody read or tell you something that they have already read. Psalm 69, and let's start at verse 6. 69 and 6. Okay, go ahead.
Let not them that wait on thee, O Lord God of hosts, be ashamed for my sake. Let not those that seek thee be confounded for my sake.
Now, the people that wait on the Lord, he said, don't let them be ashamed for my sake. Now, he said, for his sake, this guy must have a lot of pull with the Lord, don't he? And don't let them that come to you be reproached for my sake. Go ahead and read.
O God of Israel. Because for thy sake I have borne reproach.
Because for thy sake I have borne reproach. In other words, this guy suffered for the Father's sake. Go ahead and read.
Shame hath covered my face. I am become a stranger unto my brethren.
He's a shame has covered my face, and I have become a stranger unto my brethren. Go ahead and read.
And an alien unto my mother's children.
And an alien unto my mother's children. Then he said my mother's children was angry with me. Right. Don't you know, to this day, the biggest critics of Jesus is Israelites. Even to this day. Go ahead and read.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
For the zeal of thine house hath eaten me up.
And the reproaches of them that reproach thee are fallen upon me.
And the problems that they created and the sins that they made, I had to pay it. But I want you to let the book tell you who this is talking about. Now let's go into Romans, the 15th chapter. He said, because the zeal of your house have eaten me up, and the reproaches of them that reproach me, thee have fallen on me. Let's see who this is that was doing all of this talking. All you got to do is find out what the conversation is, and the book will tell you who was having the conversation. Romans the 15th chapter, and we're going to start reading at verse 2. Romans 15 and verse 2. Romans chapter 15, and we're going to start reading at verse 2. Okay, read it.
Let every one of us please his neighbor for his good to edification.
Now that would be good if everybody thought about his neighbor the right way. Then you would be like the Lord. Go ahead and read.
For even Christ pleased not himself. But as it is written.
For even Christ pleased not himself, but it is written. Go ahead.
The reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me.
The reproaches of them that reproached thee fell on me. Even Jesus was telling you by the mouth of David back in the 69th chapter of Psalm, all these sins that these people commit, I am the one going to have to die for it if I'm to save this creation. So now we're starting to find out who this is that called himself black. Huh?
That's right.
Now let's go back to the Songs of Solomon. And we're going to read the 6th verse again, but this time we're going to deal with the second half of the 6th verse. That's why I tell people sometimes you have to read and pay attention, because sometimes you can learn a whole lot about several things in one verse. 6 and 1 all over again. Go ahead and read.
1 and 6.
1 and 6, brother, all over again. 1 and 6. Okay, go ahead.
Look not upon me, because I am black. Because the sun had looked upon me.
Go ahead.
My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
Now these same children of my mother, which is Israel, was angry with me, and they made me the keeper of the vineyards, while my own vineyard have gone unkept. Who is the Lord's vineyard? Well, let's go look at it. Let's go into Isaiah the 5th chapter. Isaiah chapter 5. All we have to do is read this book, sisters and brothers, and it speaks for itself. Isaiah 5, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Isaiah 5 and verse 1. Okay, read it.
Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. My well-beloved has a vineyard in a very fruitful hill.
Go ahead.
And he fenced it and gathered out the stones thereof and planted it with the choicest vine and built a tower in the midst of it and also made a wine press therein.
Go ahead.
And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes.
Now look, this is his vineyard. He gave it everything it needed, the choices of everything. But when they looked for grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. Go ahead and read.
And now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem and men of Judah,
go ahead.
Judge, I pray you, betwixt me and my vineyard.
He said, I want you to judge between me and my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it?
Go ahead.
Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, brought it forth wild grapes?
He said, look, what more could I have done? I gave him the best of everything. I gave him good laws, good statutes, good land, good food, good everything. And when I looked for grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. Go ahead and read.
And now go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof.
Oh, this is the Lord going to work on this vineyard. You might pay attention sometimes, sister and brother, because the Israelites blame everybody for their condition. But the Lord said, go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I'm going to take away the hedge from it. Go ahead and read.
And it shall be eaten up. And break down the wall thereof.
Go ahead.
And it shall be trodden down.
Go ahead.
And I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned nor digged.
Now the Lord said he going to break down the wall. You ain't got no protection. He going to lay it waste. He ain't going to harvest it. Go ahead and read.
But there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the clouds that they rain no rain upon it.
Go ahead.
For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel.
Oh, so that's the one that laid siege on us, sister and brother. He said, I gave this people everything that they needed. And they showed me they didn't appreciate it. They sinned against me. They broke my laws. They lied on me. And now they hate me. He said, I'm going to lay it waste. Who is this vineyard? The vineyard, Lord, is the whole house of Israel. Go ahead.
And the men of Judah, his pleasant plant. And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression.
Go ahead.
For righteousness, but behold a cry.
And the same thing. This people have not changed in all this time. We holler how other people oppress and push us back, but look what we're doing to one another. He said, when I looked for righteousness, I didn't find it. So he took this vineyard and he did something. He put it in captivity. Let everybody abuse it. Skip down to verse 13. Verse 13 and go ahead.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity because they have no knowledge.
That's why we're in captivity today, because we have no knowledge. We never knew God. We never knew his laws and statutes. Go ahead and finish that.
And their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Now, if you're honorable men, these are your politicians, these are your preachers, these are your teachers. If they are thirsty, if they are famished, in other words, they don't have no knowledge, then how is it that the people can have any knowledge? That's why I said they dried up with thirst. We don't know what to do because we don't know our God. Now we blaming everybody for what has happened to us, sisters and brothers. But the problem is ours. And we're going to show you who messed this vineyard up. Let's go into Jeremiah the 20th chapter. Jeremiah the 12th chapter, rather. Jeremiah chapter 12. We are going to show you who messed it up. And if you look around, you might see they might still be a little bit busy. Because, sisters and brothers, the Lord has supplied us with everything. He did something with us that he's never done with anybody else. He showed up and spoke to us. He ain't done that with nobody else. Jeremiah 12, and we're going to start reading at verse 7. Jeremiah 12 and verse 7. Okay, go ahead.
I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage.
That's what it is. He said, I have forsaken mine house. I have left mine heritage. Go ahead and read.
I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies.
So how did our enemies get us, sisters and brothers? God gave us into their hand. And I ain't lying. All you got to do is read the news. Ain't nothing changed. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a lion in the forest. It crieth out against me. Therefore have I hated it.
And that's why. His heritage cried out against him. Therefore I hated it. His heritage still cried out against it. The average Hebrew Israelite found out that he's an Hebrew Israelite, and the first thing he learned to do is hate Jesus.
That's right.
So the Lord said, you done cried out against me just like a lion in the forest, therefore I've hated it. Oh yeah, God can hate too. And when God hate, he can hurt. Real bad. Go ahead and read.
Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her.
Go ahead.
Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour.
So you're just like a speckled bird. You ain't white, you ain't black. So you can't blend in with the black, you can't blend with the white. You can't blend in with Ham, and you can't blend in with the Gentiles. Everybody hates you. It's all that simple. Everybody, no matter where you go, they hate you. Got a lot of brothers want to holler, well, look at the white man. I said, you go over there and look at the Hamite. Ham sold you, Gentiles bought you. It's just like a speckled bird. You don't fit nowhere. If you don't fit in your Lord's vineyard, you just don't fit. Go ahead and read.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
Many drug dealers.
Pastors. Pastors.
Read that again. I got to hear that. Go ahead.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard.
Many pastors have destroyed my vineyard. Go ahead and read.
They have trod my portion underfoot. They have made my pleasant portion a desolate wilderness.
And that's what you've done. You don't know nothing. You know why? Because your pastors haven't taught you anything. They haven't even asked you to think, why am I, as a people of the only a minority in the country, but I am a majority in the penal institutions. And I do mean a majority. Why? It's because your pastors gave you that bad doctrine. Go into heaven, eat anything. Serve the God of this person. Serve the God of that person. Started way back. And when the Lord, and then tell people, you can't keep them laws. The wild grapes, sisters and brothers, is a bad doctrine. So the Lord is the one that did it because your pastors did this. Who is this Lord? The one that called himself black? Jesus. That's what we're talking about between Jesus and Israel. Not the Father. Average Israelite don't even know that. Let's go into St. Luke, the 13th chapter. St. Luke, the 13th chapter. See, our problems come from the people the Lord sent to lead us. Now when the hand of the Lord that fell on us, now we moaning. Got the preachers running around talking about down with dope and up with hope. Picking in this factory because they won't give my son a job. All the money is in the church. Why don't I said a long time ago, why don't the church put their money together, build some factories, create some commerce. We could solve our problem, unemployment problem, overnight. But you know what it is? The churches are not the Lord's church. The church is Pastor Joe Blow's church. And the show you go and you look, you see his name on it. Pastor so-and-so, so-and-so. You look at the sign out there and see whose name on it. No more. Luke 13, look what Jesus said when he was here. Let's start at verse 31. Luke 13 and 31. Because Israel was all using every kind of means to scare Jesus and get rid of Jesus. He even threatened him with Herod. Verse 31, go ahead and read.
The same day there came certain of the Pharisees, saying unto him, Get thee out and depart hence, for Herod will kill thee.
Now they're going to scare him with Herod. Well, Herod is lame for you. Herod wasn't interested in killing Jesus. You understand? But Israel wanted to get rid of him. But look what Jesus told them. Go ahead and read.
And he said unto them, Go ye and tell that fox, Behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow.
He said, I want you to go and tell that fox, Herod. So look, I cast out devils today and heal the sick today and tomorrow. Go ahead and read.
And the third day I shall be perfected.
And the third day I'm going to become God. That's what perfection is, sister and brother. Skip down to verse 34 and go ahead.
O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killeth the prophets.
See, because that's who he was dealing with. He didn't deal with nobody but the Israelites. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, would kill his prophets. Go ahead and read.
And stonest them that are sent unto thee. How often would I have gathered thy children together as a hen doth gather her brood under her wings?
Go ahead.
And ye would not.
How often would I have gathered you together? Like a hen would gather her chicks, but you wouldn't be gathered. Couldn't be gathered. You would not allow him to gather you because you kept sinning against him. Even when you call yourself repentant, you sin against him. Even while you tell him you was serving him, you were serving some pagan god. So finally, the Lord got tired. He just withdrew himself. Now you crying and you weeping and you moaning. It's just like I saw this thing when I think it was in New York when the feds was rushing where they going in, they raided some Israelite place. Then you had some little old black newscaster out there with his microphone. Yeah, y'all talking about the God of Israel. Where the bleak is the God of Israel. Now I just looked at him. I said, this boy's a fool. First thing is, if he had some knowledge, he'd know what was going on because the Lord is the one that brought all this on because of misbehaving. And we didn't learn nothing. And the last thing anybody with any knowledge is going to do is curse God. I said, now this guy think he's smart. Guys like him is what put us here. So the Lord just withdrew himself. He said, I'm going to see what your end going to be. Now when the hand of the stranger fall on you and you start to suffer, he's still sitting there looking. Why? It's because when he looked for righteousness, he found wickedness. He found oppression. He found evil. He just withdrew himself. And so now we're looking for him. Let's go into Songs of Solomon.
Verse 35.
Songs of Solomon. The 3rd chapter.
35.
That's all right. Your house is left to you vacant anyway. He tried to gather and you would not be gathered. And you know that because you're sitting in front of me in a strange land. Songs of Solomon, the 3rd chapter. And we're going to start at verse 1. Because we are looking for him, sisters and brothers. But the Lord, I got time. Because we wanted to create our own righteousness. And we don't want to seek him on his turn. No, he can't do that with the God of Israel, which is the God of the whole creation. Verse 1, go ahead.
By night on my bed I sought him whom my soul loveth.
This is this woman talking now. Go ahead and read.
I sought him, but I found him not.
I sought him, but I found him not. Go ahead and read.
I will rise now and go about the city in the streets. And in the broad ways I will seek him whom my soul loveth. I sought him, but I found him not.
So now I'm going to go in the streets. I'm going to go everywhere seeking him whom my soul loveth. And I sought him, but I found him not. There's a reason, but let's pursue it a little bit. We're going to get back here. Let's go into Songs of Solomon, the 5th chapter, and pursue this same thing. Start at verse 2, 5 and 2. Go ahead and read.
I sleep, but my heart waketh.
Go ahead.
It is the voice of my beloved that knocketh.
Go ahead.
Saying, open to me, my sister, my love, my dove, my undefiled.
It is, sisters and brothers, and to us he's still knocking with this word that's written. Open unto me, my love, my sister. Open to me. Go ahead and read.
For my head is filled with dew, and my locks with the drops of the night.
Look, I'm ready. I'm tired of the dew coming in. Open to me so I can come into you. Skip down to verse 5. Verse 5 and go ahead.
I rose up to open to my beloved, and my hands dropped with myrrh, and my fingers with sweet-smelling myrrh. Upon the handles of the lock.
I mean, I was really holy when I was going to it. You understand? Everything is ready. But what happened? Go ahead and read.
I opened to my beloved, but my beloved have withdrawn himself.
Wait a minute. I opened to him, but my beloved have withdrawn himself. Go ahead and read.
And was gone. My soul failed when he spake. I sought him, but I could not find him.
Go ahead.
I called him, but he gave me no answer.
He said, I couldn't find him. I looked for him. I called, and he wouldn't answer me. He wouldn't answer me. Why won't my beloved answer me? Let's go into Hosea. We're going to come back here, so keep your mark in the Song of Solomon. Hosea, the 5th chapter. And let's find out how is that a woman could love a man so and seek after him so. And he had the audacity to call and then withdraw himself when I opened the door. This is a weird love, ain't it? Hosea 5, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Hosea 5 and verse 1. Okay, read it.
Hear ye this, O priests, and hearken, ye house of Israel.
Go ahead.
And give ye ear, O house of the king.
Go ahead.
For judgment is toward you, because ye have been a snare on Mizpah and a net spread upon Tabor.
He said, I want you to, this judgment is toward you, O Israel, and all the priests, because you are the one that has snared my people. Go ahead and read.
And the revolters are profound to make slaughter. Though I have been a rebuker of them all.
He's a name profound to make slaughter. Even like now, he said, though I have been a rebuker of them all, still I ain't hearing nothing. Skip down to verse 5. Verse 5 and go ahead.
And the pride of Israel doth testify to his face.
Go ahead.
Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in their iniquity. Judah also shall fall with them.
Because of your pride, you're going to fall. Go ahead and read.
They shall go with their flocks and with their herds to seek the Lord. But they shall not find him.
They're going to go to seek him, but they are not going to find him. Go ahead.
He had withdrawn himself from them.
Because he have withdrawn himself. Because of their sin and their pride and their folly. Even today, we got Israelites out in the corner making us look real stupid. Making us look real evil. Like this place that was raided, they called it a hate group. That's why the Lord withdrew himself. And he said, I'm going to see what's going to happen to you. Skip down to verse 15. Verse 15 and go ahead.
I will go and return to my place.
This is what the Lord said. I'm going to go and return to my place.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
Until they acknowledge their offense.
And seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
He said, when I bring this drop on them, this drama, they're going to seek him early. That's why the Lord really going to bring the great tribulations upon the earth. Mm-hmm. Because ain't nobody going to seek the Lord until he starts getting their head busted. He said, I'm going to go on back to my place. Where is he at now? That man-child is going on back. He's sitting at the right hand of the Father. And he said, I'm going to see what your end going to be. Because I'm going to bring some perfect drama on you. I'm going to destroy you in every way possible. But the woman is still seeking. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon, 3rd chapter. Songs of Solomon, chapter 3. We're going to run into another element here. Why are we seeking? Songs of Solomon 3. And we're going to read one verse. Verse 3.
The watchmen that go
Wait
about...
till I say okay and go ahead. He's getting anxious. Verse 3. Now, okay, go ahead.
The watchmen that go about the city found me.
The watchmen that go about the city found me. Go ahead.
To whom I said, saw ye him whom my soul loveth?
Have you seen the one that my soul loveth? Have you seen the Lord? They went to the watchmen that go about the city. First thing is, we want to find out what a watchman is so we know who we're talking about. Okay? Now let's go into Ezekiel, the 33rd chapter. Ezekiel chapter 33. Because maybe there's something about these watchmen we need to find out. You got two type watchmen, sisters and brothers. Ezekiel 33, and we're going to start reading at verse 1. Ezekiel 33 and verse 1. 33 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
Again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast.
Now look now. We're going to look at this now. When I bring a sword upon the land and the people of the land pick a man of their coast. Go ahead and read.
And set him for their watchman. If when he seeth the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
Now look. Even if the people choose a watchman, and the Lord bring a sword upon the land, if the watchman know about it, and he warned the people, he said, and the people don't change, their blood's going to be on their own head. Go ahead and read.
He heard the sound of the trumpet, and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul.
Go ahead.
But if the watchman see the sword come, and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at the watchman's hand.
So for that watchman that you chose, if he see danger coming, he know what I will do to them if they do certain things, and don't warn the people, you still go down your sin, but the blood is going to be on the watchman's head. A lot of ministers don't understand this system. But go ahead and read.
So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
So thou, O son of man, I have set you a watchman for the house of Israel. Go ahead and read.
Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
So what is a watchman? He is the one that hears the word of God and warns the people about God. He will let them know that God still say you have to honor his Sabbath day.
That's right.
He still say you have to keep the dietary law. You still have to keep his commandments. He said, you better warn them from me. The watchmen are not doing it, sisters and brothers. You got two type watchmen, and all watchmen are not from the Lord. The people can pick up a watchman, but the Lord can pick a watchman too. So he said, son of man, talking to Ezekiel, I have set you a watchman to the house of Israel. Who are watchmen? Guys like me. We get this word. We see what the Lord's going to do to you if you don't obey. Then we warn you. But you got other watchmen, sisters and brothers, that are not from the Lord. And the ones that are not from the Lord, they do something ugly to you. Let's go back to Songs of Solomon, the 5th chapter. Songs of Solomon, chapter 5. And we're going to read one verse called when this woman met the watchman and asked him, I've been seeking my Lord. Do you know where he is? They dealt with it. 5 and 7. 5 and 7. Okay, go ahead.
The watchman that went about the city found me.
The watchman that went about the city, they found me. Go ahead and read.
They smote me.
They smote me.
They wounded me.
They wounded me.
The keepers of the walls took away my veil from me.
And they, the keepers of the wall, we're going to show you that's bad doctrine. They took away my veil from me. Who is this veil? I was clean, seeking my God. But the watchmen, which also are the pastors that destroyed my vineyard, they smote me. They took away my veil. That's the Spirit of the Lord that you covered under, sisters and brothers. And the keepers of the wall, they're the ones that whatever truth I had, they took it away from me. They told me you don't have to keep the dietary law. And when I said I had, they mocked me. When I say I have to keep the commandment, they said, you are legalists. You can't keep that old law. God knows you can't keep that old law. In other words, your God has set you up to fail. These are the watchmen. What are the name of the watchmen? They come pastor, prophet, evangelist, reverend, preacher. Ezekiel, the 13th chapter. Ezekiel chapter 13. I'm going to show you how they took away the veil. In other words, ain't no virgin no more. You have thrown me in the bed with every pagan god on the planet. In the name of the true and living God. Ezekiel 13, let's start reading at verse 1. Ezekiel 13 and verse 1. Okay, go ahead.
And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesied.
Oh, not only the people now. A son of man, prophesy against the prophets of Israel that prophesied. Go ahead and read.
And say thou unto them that prophesy out of their own hearts, hear ye the word of the Lord.
So they ain't prophesying from me. They're prophesying out of their own mind. Hear ye the word of the Lord, they said. They didn't say, hear ye what I think. Go ahead and read.
Thus saith the Lord God, woe unto the foolish prophets that follow their own spirit and have seen nothing. O Israel, thy prophets are like the foxes in the desert.
Go ahead.
Ye have not gone up into the gaps, neither made up the hedge of the house of Israel to stand in the battle in the day of the Lord.
Now, these are your prophets that's like the foxes in the desert. They ain't taught you nothing. They have not gone in the gap. They have not listened to my word. They have not prepared you for the day of the Lord, the evil day. What time we talking? Great tribulation. Go to average church. They don't even know nothing about the great tribulation. They don't know that Jesus is going to come and invade this earth. They don't have a clue about the war of Armageddon. In fact, they don't even want the people to read the book of Revelation. Because they might read about the blood up to the horse's brow. He said, prophesy to these. Go ahead and read.
They have seen vanity.
They have seen vanity.
And lying divination. Saying, the Lord saith, and the Lord hath not sent them.
Now you go to any church tomorrow and sit down with your notebook. And watch how many things they're going to tell you that the Lord said that ain't in this book. And he ain't opened his mouth. Go ahead and read.
And they have made others to hope that they would confirm the word.
And they have made others to hope that they're going to confirm it. And you hoping for something that ain't going to happen. Skip down to verse 10. Verse 10, go ahead.
Even because they have seduced my people, saying peace, and there was no peace. And one built up a wall, and lo, others daubed it with untempered mortar.
So they have seduced the people, saying of peace, especially Israel. Peace, peace. You're killing yourself. Police killing you. Man killed a man the other day, a football player, and they arrested him and let him go. Where is the peace? But tomorrow they're going to be saying, well, you know, peace, peace. How can I have peace when my children are dying in the streets? My daughters have to prostitute to make a living. And the majority and the strength of my young men and women are hid away in prison house. Where is the peace? Go ahead and read. What verse?
Verse 11. Say unto them which daub it with untempered mortar.
And say, look, and they have daubed it with untempered mortar. In other words, you got one preacher saying and the other one co-signing. So I want you to say to them that co-sign the lie. Go ahead and read.
That it shall fall.
It's going to fall.
There shall be an overflowing shower, and ye, O great hailstones, shall fall, and a stormy wind shall rend it.
The Lord said, I'm going to tear that falsehood down. And I'm going to take you with it. Because you are a watchman that beat the woman up. You told her things that's not reasonable. You don't teach the law. You don't teach salvation. You don't teach brotherhood. You don't even teach nationhood. We're just like a bunch of weeds that grew up in the crack of concrete. We don't even have a solid patch. Think about it. Now let's go into Ezekiel, the 22nd chapter. Because all of us have our own agenda. You know, that's when Jesus said, all that's before him are thieves and robbers. Brother sent me a letter. Oh, was the prophets thieves and robbers? He didn't mean the one that came before him. He mean the people that are sitting in front of him talking about Lord, Lord. You know, sometimes you understand that it's not the way it is. It is what it is. Ezekiel 22 and verse 25. We're going to start at verse 25. Ezekiel 22 and verse 25. Okay, go ahead.
There's a conspiracy of her prophets in the midst thereof.
See, these are the liar and the dauber. You understand? So I ain't going to expose you if you don't expose me. I'm going to co-sign your lie if you co-sign my lie. So what is it called? A conspiracy. That's what it is. Go ahead and read.
Like a roaring lion ravening the prey.
They all are ravening the prey. Go ahead and read.
They have devoured souls. They have taken the treasure and precious things. They have made her many widows in the midst thereof.
That's why the Lord said many pastors have destroyed my vineyard and have made it a wilderness, and now it's mourning to me. Praying all the time, but ain't nothing happening. Go ahead and read.
Her priests have violated my law.
Her priests have violated my law.
And have profaned mine holy things.
Go ahead.
They have put no difference between the holy and profane. Neither have they showed difference between the unclean and the clean. And have hid their eyes from my Sabbaths. And I am profaned among them.
Ain't that something? He said, look, these priests that's supposed to be coming from me, they done profaned my holy name. They haven't put a difference between clean and unclean. They haven't put a difference between foods that he put together. They haven't put a difference between the Sabbath day and the first day. They haven't made a difference between man to let man know he can't deal with man and woman can't deal with woman. All that's good. They done passed the law, and the priests have deafened me with silence. He says, priests have done this. Who are the priests? Still talking about me too. Go ahead and read.
Her princes in the midst thereof are like wolves ravening the prey.
Go ahead.
To shed blood and to destroy souls to get dishonest gain.
No matter what I have to do to get your money, if I have to send you to the lake of fire, so be it. Go ahead and read.
And her prophets have daubed them with untempered mortar.
And the prophets have co-signed it. That untempered mortar is bad doctrine. That's why I talk about the wall. That's why when the priest had Paul slapped, Paul called him a whited wall.
That's right.
What is a whited wall? A wall that ain't got nothing on it.
Good for nothing.
So they have daubed with untempered water. Go ahead.
Seeing vanity and divining lies unto them, saying, thus saith the Lord God, when the Lord hath not spoken.
He said, they seeing vanity, and they lied unto the people, saying, thus saith the Lord. He said, and I ain't said nothing. This is this watchman that found this woman and beat her up. The keepers of the wall took away her veil. Tomorrow, they're going to be busy taking away veils. Lord got something. He said a lot about these watchmen. Because the woman can't find the Lord. So who do you go to? You go to the house of the watchman, the church.
That's right. That's right.
If you're going to get it, shouldn't you get it from them?
Yes, sir.
But now they beat you up. They take away your veil. They lied to you for their own reason. Let's go into Isaiah the 56th chapter. Isaiah the 56th chapter. Because if you can't get it from the watchman, where do you get it? He is the one that the Lord ordained to warn you about him. He is the one. You're going to get some groceries in the grocery store. Some guy get up and spray you with gas. I didn't come here to get gassed. I come here to get groceries. Isaiah 56. And we're going to start reading at verse 9. Isaiah 56 and verse 9. This is what the Israelites used to read all the time about the preachers. They didn't know they was reading about themselves too. 56 and verse 9. Okay, go ahead.
All ye beasts of the field come to devour. Yeah, all ye beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber.
Now, this is the Lord said that, didn't he? Said dumb dogs that can't bark. Said the watchmen are blind. That's why all the beasts of the field can come and raid his vineyard. Sell you anything. Take your money. The biggest wig and hair weave users in the United States are you. You don't have one black distributor. People come from Korea selling you hair. Go ahead and read.
Yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough.
Go ahead.
And they are shepherds that cannot understand.
So we ain't talking street people here, are we? Go ahead and read.
They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain from his quarter.
They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain. That's why they destroy you for any means to get gain. And look what they say. Go ahead and read.
Come ye, say they. I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink.
Go ahead.
And tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant.
So come on. Let's drink wine. Let's party, ministers. Don't worry about it. Because we're going to go back and get this again. In fact, we're going to get more. They love paying us for nothing.
That's right.
This is the watchman that the woman ran into. And to let you know the truth, This is going to be the majority of watchmen around when Jesus comes. Let's go into Jeremiah 23rd chapter. Jeremiah 23. Brother tell me, brother, you shouldn't say something about, I ain't saying nothing about the preachers. I'm reading about it. Did I put this in here? The whole thing is, sisters and brothers, the Lord wrote this stuff, and they won't read it to the people. People got to know these things. Jeremiah 23, we're going to start at verse 1. 23 and 1. Okay, go ahead.
Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
And that,
saith the Lord.
Now that's what they're doing. Why? Pastor ain't supposed to destroy and scatter. But you got them now. He said, woe be to them. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them.
He said, look, these are the pastors that have feed my people. You scattered them, and you're driven away, and you have not visited them. Go ahead and read.
Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord.
But I'm going to get you. It's just a matter of time. Like I wanted, brother. You say you want to be a preacher? I want you to know something. We are in danger because we are the ones, if we destroy a soul, we have to account for it. Go ahead and read.
And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase.
Now this is the hope that I have, sisters and brothers. Because I know my God, regardless of what happened, if the watchman and the pastors refuse to deliver the message, he's going to come himself and fix this thing. Skip down to verse 5 and go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, and I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth.
This is righteous branch is the one, the man-child that's going to rule the earth with the rod of iron. Come through the lineage of David. This is Jesus here. Go ahead and read.
In his days, Judah shall be saved.
In his days, Judah shall be saved. So don't nobody pay attention to the word. We are not going to be delivered until Jesus returns. And you got this Hebrew ragging on Jesus. Even if he get to the wilderness, he ain't going to get out of it with that attitude. Go ahead.
And Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called.
Judah going to be saved, and Israel going to dwell safely. Ain't nobody going to be blowing it up with bombs or nothing else. Car bombs, coat bombs, or nothing. This branch that's going to grow up to David. And here is the name whereby he shall be called. Go ahead and read.
The Lord our righteousness.
The Lord our righteousness. Who is this Lord our righteousness? Jesus, sisters and brothers. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt.
Go ahead.
But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land.
Now, so we ain't going to be talking about no more about the Exodus out of Egypt and what happened when the Lord brought us up out of Egypt. We ain't going to mention that no more. What we're going to say is be talking about how the Lord have delivered Israel from all over the planet. But we haven't gotten to that, have we? We still scattered to the four winds, sisters and brothers. Still scattered to the four winds. So now, until that time, what do we do? What do we have? We have this watchman slapping us around. Now let's go back to Songs of Solomon. This Songs of Solomon tells a big story. They got nothing to do with Solomon and one of his many women. We're going to start at Songs of Solomon, the 6th chapter this time. That's why you have to read this, sister and brother. That's why I tell people, read the Bible over and over from the beginning to the end. Then when you start looking at things, it starts to come together. The Lord starts to put them together in your mind. Oh, this fits here. Oh, this means supposed to be here. This is what the Lord meant. Verse 1, read it.
Whither is thy beloved gone?
We're still looking for him, ain't we? Go ahead and read.
O thou fairest among women. Whither is thy beloved turned aside, that we may seek him with thee?
Now these are the other nations. So where's your God gone? And they've been trying to seek him. But the only big problem is we the priests, if we are diverting our own people and misleading our own people, what else can they be but misled? That's what we'll seek. Where did he go? We want to seek him with you. But we're going to skip now to 13 and talk about his return. This word, Shulamite, means peacefulness. It ain't talking about a person. Verse 13, read it.
Return, return, O Shulamite. Return, return, that we may look upon thee.
Because they're looking for him. They can't find him, so they're asking return. Please return, O peacefulness, that we may look upon thee. Go ahead and read.
What will ye see in the Shulamite?
What will you see when he come? Go ahead and read.
As it were the company of two armies.
As it was the company of two armies. That means he ain't coming by himself. You know, when Jacob went down to Padan-aram and was down there, and once he had got wives and children, he was coming back. And he was afraid of his brother Esau because he ran away because Esau swore to kill him. So his mama said, get out of town. But when Jacob came back, the angels of the Lord met him. And Jacob said, hey, these are two bands. The band, Jacob and his household, and a band of angels. You got mortal and immortals. So when Jacob come into the land, two bands came. So when Jacob's God come to him, it's going to be the same. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go into the 19th chapter of Revelation. These things, don't nobody know, sisters and brothers, because they don't read the book. The watchman's is too busy beating up people tomorrow. He ain't teaching them. And then get mad at me. See, brother, I heard some people say, I don't like to go to that church because he always condemning the preachers. I only condemn them when the book condemns them. I don't do it on every Sabbath day. But when you teach, and when the subject come up, you got to deal with it, don't you? When I get to say your watchmen are blind, and they're dumb dogs, I'm supposed to say, your watchmen, and go to the next verse. It is what it is. So let's check out and see what these two bands, these two armies that he says going to come. He says two armies, didn't he? 19 and verse 11. Go ahead and read.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Well, this is talking Jesus here. Go ahead and read.
His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
Go ahead.
And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself.
Go ahead.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
That's the blood that's going to be scattered on his garment from killing so many people. Go ahead and read.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
And his armies. These are the angels, sisters and brothers, that followed him from heaven. They're dressed in linen, fine and clean. That's one army. Now let's look at the other one. Let's go into 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter. Because the Lord put this here. He wants us to know this. And people don't know. You know why? Because the watchmen took away their veil. They blinded them. They created a doctrine, a false wall. And everybody co-signed it with untempered mortar. And otherwise, one lie and the other one say, hey, he didn't lie. That's the truth. So you go to this preacher and he tell you one thing, and you go to this one and check him out, he tell you the same thing. That's what daubing with untempered mortar. 1 Thessalonians 4, and we're going to start reading at verse 14. 4 and 14. Okay, go ahead.
For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him.
Now we know that. Them that sleep in Jesus with God going. So I guess if they was in heaven, all of them laying around in heaven sleeping, huh? Mm-hmm. Some of you look like a red flag should go up when you read that, shouldn't it? You mean that's all I got to do when I go to heaven, just sleep? No. The ones that's died in him, he's going to bring with him. But if he's in heaven and they're on the ground and in the ground, something have to happen, don't it? Go ahead and read.
For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep.
Go ahead.
For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout.
He coming down from heaven with a shout?
With the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first.
And the dead in Christ going to rise first. Go ahead and read.
Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air.
So now we ain't going to wait until the Lord get here. We're going to leave the earth and meet him in the air. Here he come. Go ahead and read.
And so shall we ever be with the Lord.
So now we already read that God going to come with the armies, the angels from heaven. Then this man is in the first resurrection.
That's right.
They going to be raised. Now the Lord got all his angels, this one army. Now he got all these freshly minted gods. Because everybody that come up in the first resurrection going to be God. Every one of them. So he come with two powerful armies. Band of angels and a band of God. That's why I said when he come, you're going to know when he come, because he's going to come with two armies. Undefeatable. And what's going to happen? Let's go into Zechariah 14, because it says, so shall we ever be with the Lord when we meet him, right? Zechariah 14. And he ain't coming to pat on the head and shake the hand. I said, boy, them watchmen have really messed this woman up. Because she don't know nothing. And think she got everything. Zechariah 14 and verse 3. 14 and 3. Okay, read it.
Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations.
Oh, he coming to fight, ain't he? What nations? All the kings of the earth and all the beasts and all the kings of the earth. Against those nations, go ahead.
As when he fought in the day of battle. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives.
Go ahead.
Which is before Jerusalem on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof, toward the east and toward the west. And there shall be a very great valley. And half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
Go ahead.
And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azar. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah.
So when the Lord come, his feet gonna hit the Mount of Olives. Him and who else? Go ahead and read.
And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
So who are the saints? Those are the people in the first resurrection. Who else is with him? Matthew, the 25th chapter, the Lord said when the Son of Man come and all of his holy angels, he going to sit on the throne of his glory. So you got the holy angels and you got the saints, which are a brand new set of gods. They're coming to do war. Who going to fight against them? You're going to fight against angels. One angel could destroy this earth by himself. But you're going to fight against all of the angels that didn't fight Satan and all of the gods that's going to be raised in the first resurrection. So when your beloved comes, he's going to come with two armies, sisters and brothers.